Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
What about aluminum, sir?
Aluminum too.
This makes Canada the biggest foreign supplier of aluminum and one of the top steel exporters to the United States. With rising costs due to tariffs, US car makers may shift production to cheaper markets, leading to plant closures in Canada and thousands of job losses. The opposition leader Pierre Poilievre says the government needs a stronger strategy. We must negotiate from a position of strength and seek new global trade partnership. With higher tariffs, costs increase for businesses on both the sides of the border, disrupting production lines, increasing expenses, and slowing down economic activities. Canada has already begun strengthening trade partnership with Europe and Asia through agreements like CETA and CPTPP, reducing dependencies on the US. So will Trump's tariff destroy Canadian economy? The answer is complex. My dear friends, welcome back. Today we are diving deep into one of the most controversial and economically significant moves in recent history. The 25% tariff imposed by Donald Trump on steel and aluminum imports.
Any steel coming into the United States is going to have a 25% tariff.
What about aluminum, sir?
Aluminum too.
This move has sent shockwaves through the global economy, especially for Canada, the US closest trading partner. But there is a real question. Could Trump's tariff war actually destroy Canada's economy, or is this a wake-up call that might push Canada towards greater economic resilience? Let's break it down. The US and Canada have shared one of the world's strongest economic relationship for decades. Trade between the two nations is valued at over $728 billion annually. Canada exports vast amount of steel, aluminum, and automotive parts to the US, while also being a key market for American goods, including agriculture, technology, and energy products. Canada is one of the largest suppliers of steel and aluminum to the United States. In fact, Canada accounts for approximately 17% of US steel imports and 43% of US aluminum imports. This makes Canada the biggest foreign supplier of aluminum and one of the top steel exporters to the United States. These figures highlights how deeply integrated the two economies are and why tariffs on these materials could have a profound impact on both countries. Now, Trump's administration argues that these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs, revive domestic industries, and reduce the US trade deficit.
We're making our country stronger. And in the case of Canada, if this should happen, I don't know how they can do it without us, because without the US, Canada really doesn't have a country.
But as history has shown, trade wars rarely come without collateral damage. So what does this mean for Canada? The tariffs are expected to take effect within the next few months, with specific implementation dates depending on ongoing negotiation and legal proceedings. However, business leaders and economists are already bracing for the impact as companies prepare for rising costs and potential job losses. Canadian policymakers are pushing for diplomatic solutions, but the clock is ticking. Canada's steel and aluminum industries employ over 150,000 workers. A 25% tariff means Canadian companies must either absorb the higher cost or pass them down to consumers, which is basically us. This could result in layoffs, plant shutdown, and declining competitiveness. The North American economy is highly integrated. Many Canadian manufacturers rely on American raw materials and vice versa. With higher tariffs, costs increase for businesses on both the sides of the border, disrupting production lines, increasing expenses, and slowing down economic activities. Canadian auto parts manufacturers contribute significantly to US car production. With rising costs due to tariffs, US car makers may shift production to cheaper markets, leading to plant closures in Canada and thousands of job losses. The auto industry is one of Canada's largest employers, so any slowdown could ripple through the entire economy of Canada. Canada's dairy and poultry sectors are also in the crosshairs. The US has been critical of Canadians' supply management system, and with tariffs in place, American farmers could gain a competitive edge while Canadian farmers struggle with lower demand and higher costs. Small farmers who depend on exports to the US are particularly vulnerable. If they can't sell their product, they may be forced to shut down operations entirely. In response to Trump's tariffs, Canada has hit back with $106 billion worth of retaliatory tariffs on US goods, including lumber, consumer goods like appliances, furniture, perfume, alcohol, sports equipment, agricultural products too. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has made it clear Canada will not back down. However, these retaliatory tariffs could also hurt Canadian business that rely on US imports, creating an economic standoff with no clear winners. Canadian leaders across the political spectrum have condemned the tariff, calling them an unnecessary, damaging move that will hurt both countries. The opposition leader Pierre Poilievre says the government needs a stronger strategy. We must negotiate from a position of strength and seek new global trade partnership. Provinces that depend on steel, aluminium, and auto manufacturing, like Ontario and Quebec, are particularly vocal in their opposition. Economic ministers from these regions are urging federal leaders to take a firm stance while supporting businesses in adapting to new reality. While Trump believes these tariffs will protect American jobs, history suggests otherwise. US companies that rely on Canadian aluminum and steel will face higher production costs, leading to increased prices for everything from cars to construction material. Canada's retaliation means US companies exporting to Canada could suffer, leading to factory shutdowns and layoffs in key industries like agriculture and retail. Tariff wars create uncertainty, leading to stock market instability, reduced foreign investment, and slower economic growth. If the tariff persists long term, companies may hold off on expansion plans due to uncertainty. With industries under pressure, layoffs will become more frequent. A prolonged trade war could drag Canada into a recession, especially if global trade slows down due to increasing protectionism. While these challenges are real, they also present an opportunity to Canada. Canada has already begun strengthening trade partnership with Europe and Asia through agreements like CETA and CPTPP, reducing dependencies on the US. With higher import costs, Canadian businesses might look to invest more in local manufacturing and R&D. Removing internal trade barriers within Canada could help create a stronger, more self-resilient economy. So will Trump's tariff destroy Canadian economy? The answer is complex. While the immediate impact is undoubtedly negative for the Canadian side, like job losses, raising costs, and business uncertainty, does Canada have the potential to emerge stronger in the long run? By diversifying its economy, innovating, and forging new global partnership, we have to wait and see. And now I'd love to hear from you. Do you think Canada can weather this storm, or will these tariffs have long-lasting damage on Canadian economy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check out my other videos. We'll see you soon.